Hey everyone, this is Jack and Clayton, and this video is one secret to loving yourself. Now I'm kind of excited to open this up with you because, quick backstory, when I came to Boulder, Colorado 7 years ago, this, love yourself, just love yourself, if only you could love yourself, self-love, it got kind of bandied around all the time, and I was like, it doesn't really resonate with me, it doesn't land with me. Give me something more concrete that you're talking about. And I'm excited that we get to share the secret because this is the secret that really helped me love myself more. So we're not saying this is the definitive gospel on self-love or love. This is like one way of accessing this that might be relevant to you, and it's pretty different, I think, than what most other people talk about. So
why do you think this is important? Just to set the context, why is it, we talk a lot about relationships and dating and finding partners on this channel, but how does this relate, would you say, to being able to set yourself up to create a high quality relationship with a top-notch partner?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you from my coaching of women, one of the things that I commonly hear is, I kind of just want to be loved. Like I'm a great person. I just kind of want someone to love with me and stay with me. And so there's this kind of shift that can happen in your awareness where the thing that you've always looked for externally, right? Like a guy to love you, you start to notice that if you can't do that for yourself, at least somewhat, you're always stuck trying to find it in the external, and it will never be fully fulfilling to you, right? So it's like, why should a guy fully love and stay with you if you're not able actually to do that for yourself, right? So self-love is this kind of act of actually filling your own cup up and not just expecting it to be filled up externally, and not leaving you just. Can you see there's a kind of dependency or even sort of like codependency there, right? Like if I only ever feel love, if you love me, then I'm always kind of reaching, right? It's kind of like cookies in the jar. Like I need to get that hit.
And you're taking rather than actually being something in the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. And I can imagine also that if you are not familiar with what love feels like inside your system, you may miss when someone else is actually giving it to you.
Totally.
Or when they are giving it to you, you're suspicious of it.
Totally.
Because it seems very unfamiliar.
Yes.
And so what that breeds is perhaps you start unnecessarily testing somebody.
Yeah.
Or just not trusting them.
Putting up walls.
Playing
games. Yeah. So maybe we can just crack this open a little bit more, right? So the way that we want encouraging you to think about self-love is, can you be with yourself? Can you attend to yourself? Can you hang out with yourself? And can you like the company you keep? Right, that's the kind of the famous quote, or from the poem "The Invitation." But it actually is not so much about whether you even like yourself or not. It's like, can you actually be with yourself? Right.
Can you be present with yourself?
Can you track your experience? Can you slow down with yourself enough to notice, well, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Like what's going on in my body? Because if there's no presence or attention on that, there's no intimacy with yourself, right? There's no real self-witnessing happening. It's like you're actually missing your own life, right? You're out there trying to seek love, doing your career, building your life, but it's like there's this whole story happening and you're not even paying attention. You don't know how you feel about yourself or things.
I had an experience the other day working with a coach, my coach in particular, who was helping me see that we were talking about different goals and achieving certain things and looking out in the future around partnership, around perhaps accomplishment in business. And what I noticed is that whenever I'm in the future, whenever I'm off in the future somewhere, whether it's a month or two, thinking that somehow that version of me is going to be better than where I'm at right now, number one, I'm not actually present. And if I'm not actually present, I'm not actually loving myself where I'm at right here.
Right.
What's happening is I'm almost outsourcing the self-love, or saying I will give myself permission to love where I'm at once I've got this thing.
Right. It's conditional.
And then it becomes where I'm no longer in acceptance of what's happening right now. I'm in resistance of the present. I'm off in the future thinking about what could be, or I'm back in the past thinking about the decisions I made that maybe led me into a place where I'm not feeling good about myself. And what happens is I'm not being with the present moment. I'm not actually practicing self-love to the here and now. So to your point of what does it mean to be with yourself? What does it mean to actually witness what is around you? might be being able to feel with all of your five senses the experience that you're having right now. So as a tangible, actual practice of self-love every day, it might mean taking a walk out in the park. It might mean journaling.
Yes.
Right? It might mean hanging out with friends, and rather than continually thinking about the things that you have to do in the future and all the stuff that you've got on your to-do list, you're actually there in the present moment with them.
Yes.
And I've never made this connection before, but that is actually one way to bring more love into your life, into my life, and to therefore also up-level my confidence, my deservingness, my worthiness, my ability to perhaps even discern when a high-quality person is in front of me that I want to connect with, rather than frenetically looking into the future for some future state to solve how I'm feeling right now.
Totally. It's like the there and then versus the here and now.
Yeah.
I want to use a simple metaphor.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you had a dog, one of the ways that I might notice if you love the dog is, are you paying attention to the dog?
Yes.
Right? So if you never gave the dog any attention, we would probably imagine Clayton doesn't really love the dog, or he's not a very loving owner. Right? And if it was really extreme, we'd say, oh, you're actually, this is neglect.
Yeah.
If we're honest, most of us don't give ourselves that much attention, like high quality attention. I'm not talking about sitting and worrying and going over and playing things in your mind and analyzing. I'm talking about high quality attention, just like you would give to a dog, right? Where you would look at it, maybe talk to it, stroke it, give it some love, rub its belly, take it for a walk. Like, how much are you attending to yourself? Where you actually get in a good conversation with yourself. Maybe you journal and you actually access your deeper desires. Or you notice there's some area of your life where you're not in integrity with what you want, or you're compromising, or you're breaking a boundary, or you suffer from a lack of clarity. That's what loving yourself, attending to yourself, or Clayton's using this word presence, being present to yourself, that's what it allows, that there is actually a high quality of attention from you to you. And that you're not only looking for some guy to give that to you.
Yeah.
And then when you do come into contact with a guy, now it's not a deficit need. It's not like, oh my God, I've been so thirsty, I haven't drunk for all year. Thank goodness someone's giving me attention.
Grasping, yeah.
Yeah. You can actually be cool with like, great, I love having attention. I think we all love having attention.
Yeah.
But there's attention coming from me to me as well as from him to me, and it feels very different.
Yeah. Practicing being present is setting you up. It's like going to the gym and learning how to love not only yourself but someone else, so that when you are in a relationship with them, like Jack's saying, you're coming from a place of wholeness.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not leaning in.
Yeah.
In an unhealthy way, right? You're not depending on him for something that you can't give yourself.
Right. And now the relationship becomes a place where you can bring an offering.
Yeah.
You can fully bring yourself fully.
Right.
Your presence to the relationship, and it invites him to do the same. It invites her to do the same. And I think the relationship becomes a beautiful container for that to take place.
Totally.
For people to bring their presence. And I really don't see a difference between loving someone in a relationship and being present with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're almost saying at some level, presence and love are kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing.
If you're really fully present, you're kind of in loving attention.
Yes.
If you really attend to something, you kind of love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very different than attaching, right? Because oftentimes love and attachment are mixed up, right? It's like, oh, I'm longing for this. And it's like, oh, well, that might actually be attachment rather than actually loving.
Right.
Right? Where loving is actually just being with whatever is without trying to change it, fix it, control it, save it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to add one thing quickly, which is, if you're following us up until now, you may be wondering, well, like, why wouldn't I do that, right? It sounds kind of good. Yeah, okay, spend time with myself. Most of us will notice when we go to attend to ourselves in this way, there are some obstacles that are going to come up, right? Like maybe you get really anxious. Maybe you get very bored, right? Or distracted, or jumpy, or flighty, or maybe you get really tired. So most of us will have some kind of defense against attending to ourselves.
Yeah.
So just to kind of offer that if you start practicing this, it may be a little difficult at first.
And that's the thing to be with.
That's the thing to be with, exactly, right? So the way, it's like the way through boredom is through boredom, right? It's not to, I'm bored, let me go and distract myself. It's actually like, let me notice that when I go to attend to myself, I find myself kind of boring because maybe I'm not used to accessing the different contours of what is actually going on inside me.
Wow.
So it's like you don't have much definition. It's like looking at a picture where you're like, well, there's no detail in this picture. Well, the more you hang out with yourself, the more you might start to notice, like, oh, I can really tell when I'm in a shame response, or actually, I'm super angry right now, and I can presence that. You know, so it's like I'm sort of imagining like someone painting, and gradually it's like coming to life.
Yeah.
The more you attend to yourself, the more you love yourself in this way, the more definition in your picture, the more nuance and contour and subtlety and fragility and vulnerability you'll be able to discern in yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and I can just see how being able to have that perception of self allows you then to even appreciate your partner that much more when you're in front of them, because you've got practice seeing those things within you.
Yes.
And now you can see and appreciate and give life to those things in them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and reveal them as well, right?
Right.
Like if you've got this beautiful
yes.
depth in you that you have no way of accessing, then it's hard for me outside to see that, right? The more you get in touch with your own experience, the more you can reveal that. And actually, you know, intimacy with yourself is creating intimacy with another person.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, so listen, if this has been intriguing and you're liking what you're hearing and you're wanting to continue on this path with Jack and I, we want to invite you to a webinar.
Totally.
Yeah. It's called The 3 Keys to Being Relationship Ready, the 3 Keys to Attracting a High Quality Man. And really, it's some of the best content
I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say that actually in a biased way. I know that from the thousands of women that have given us feedback on this webinar. It's a great webinar. It's 60 to 90 minutes. There's a link below this video. You can click that link and you can find a time that works for you in your time zone. And I defy you to come to the webinar and not have it change something in your life.
Yeah.
So join us.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
See you there.